Well, hello there, welcome back to another Pokemon Master video. Today I'm gonna finally be talking about the gym event. I did kind of talk about it already in the description of one of my Champion Stadium videos, as I like to do. I just like to talk about stuff in the description of my Champion Stadium video. That video was, I guess, the Champion Stadium with the title Week 2, 16, 26. But anyways, the new gym event, I think, has been for me a great success. I think is definitely one of the best features that Pokemon Master has added in a while, alongside Pasio Tower. Right, I consider this basically true endgame content. I think the gym event is very difficult, so that's why I would categorize it as true endgame content. And there's also like a ranking system, and the ranking matters because normally rankings, in my opinion, I don't think matter that much. Obviously for yourself it's like an achievement thing, but once you're into like a group ranking, then yeah, it kind of matters because you want to be a good ranking to support your gym and the people in your gym, right? But just a little bit about my experience about it. I was successful in completing the master rank because there's 3 circuits, so basically there's 3 rounds of fights, and then after those 3 rounds of fight you go into your 4th, your 5th, your 6th round of fighting. But the main thing is you want to complete the first 3 rounds of gym battles, which is 24 battles. Once you complete that, you enter master rank, which means that you're able to get gems. That's the most important thing in my opinion. If you're a gym trying to complete this event, as long as you hit that master rank, I feel like that's the most important thing because that gives you gems to roll for characters. If you want basically the best amount of rewards, then you need 1 million points. And 1 million points, again, is going to be very difficult because you're going to have to be completing some of those more difficult battles in the 4th, in the 5th circuit. I think the calculation is you have to complete 4 in like a half circuits. And again, after you complete the 3rd circuit, the 4th and the 5th circuit start getting really difficult. So there's a lot of battles you have to complete to get 1 million points. But my gym was able to successfully get 1 million points as well. So not only did I complete master rank and get the gems, but I also got 1 million points, which means I was able to get all the rewards, all the cookies, all the little gym currencies that you can use to exchange for cookies. So I had a lot of fun with it. Thankfully, most people in my gym were active. I had one bot account on my gym that I probably should have kicked out, but I was hesitant to kick them out because they hadn't joined my gym for that long. But it was a bot account, so I should have kicked them out. Usually a bot account is somebody who's like level 1 with the Brock profile picture, and they join your gym, and like potentially it's a new player, but also the players are usually level 1, which means I'm suspecting them as a bot because they haven't used their stamina yet. And so I'm pretty sure if you use a little bit of stamina, you can get to level 2. So that's why I assume that any level 1 player with a Brock is a bot. So I try to kick them out, but for the most part, I think most people in my gym attacked. I think I have a list here, because as a gym leader, by the way, I'm a gym leader. So as a gym leader, it's my responsibility to check who's been attacking, just so I can potentially kick them out if I need to. But for my gym, I think I had only like 3 or 2 people not attack. I think I need to relook at it, but I think I only had like 2 people not attack. Again, one of them was the bot account. So having 18 people or 90% participation is pretty good for a gym with no communication. Yeah, by the way, my gym is just a bunch of random people joining. Potentially it's people who see my description at the YouTube channel. I'm not exactly sure, but I just let anyone join who they want to, because before the gym event, the main thing about gyms is just to have a bunch of active players. As long as you guys are active enough and you reach S rank as a gym, then you're able to get maximum rewards. And so for me, that's the most important thing, is I don't want to like have my gym gatekeep out new players or players that don't have very invested in accounts, because honestly, for a gym, as long as you're active, that's the most important thing. I don't really care if you're like a level 200 whale, like it's fine, like as long as you're active, then that's good. And my gym for context, actually struggles with getting S rank. I've only gotten S rank one time before this gym event. Obviously, with the gym event, I got S rank because I suspect a lot of people were very active during that time. So, indeed, I will talk about more about the pros, but in terms of context, that's basically it about my gym. Yeah, we got the million points, we got S rank. We barely got a million points. We got a bunch of people active, and so I'm happy about that. It was very good. Like, obviously this was the first gym event, and so how I personally was being very experimental. I think in my count, did I end up getting the most points? I think I ended up getting the most points in my gym, because there's like a gym leadership or a gym leaderboard where you compare gyms, but there's also like a personal leaderboard where you can compare like the points that you personally got compared to the points that other people personally got. And I think on my account, I ended up getting the most amount of points. I don't think I'm gonna show like the people in my gym, so I'm gonna try to like not show what people in my gym got what points, because I think that's not something that, if I was in my gym, I wouldn't want other people showing. Yeah, okay, so in my gym, I got the most points. The most points being I got 239,000 points. So 239,000 points, which is a lot of points considering that's almost a fourth of a million points. But at the end of the day, it wasn't really that many points. The second highest person on my gym got 228,000 points. So only like 10,000 points less than I did. So the second place person in my gym got a lot of points as well. So I'm pretty proud about them. Both of us together, we got like almost 50% of the amount of points that we needed for our gym. So that's really good. And then, yeah, as you saw, like my rank was at 2,000, and my rank is, I've probably been showing my rank this entire time. My rank is 2,474th. You know what? We'll take that. And then they showed Gloria as my person, so I guess Gloria was the person I was using the most in the gym, which is true. I use Gloria in basically every fight because Gloria is the GOAT. Anyways, enough talking. I just want to get into some of the pros and cons about the gym event, because I think there's a ton of pros, but I also think there are a good amount of cons, a good amount of negative things, a good amount of positive things at the gym event. All right. So first off, the gym event. I mean, it's just new content in the game, so a new way to fight. And I think that this is going to be one of the pros. Is I just think it's just more content, so it's more things for people to do. And I really enjoy that. I just thought of another con. Well, I don't know if it's a con or a pro, but it's another thought. I should type it in before I forget. It's the frequency. I'm not sure if this is going to be a pro or con, but I'm going to talk about at the end of the video, I guess. But indeed, basically the battle are timed battles, so you only have a certain amount of time to, complete your fight or do your fight. You don't need to complete the fight, but you have a certain amount of time to do the fight. And the fights are really difficult toward the end. And then you get 30 tickets. So you get 30 gym tickets, and in the beginning they force you to use 3 tickets. You get 3 tickets every day for the span of like 7 days, and you start off with like 9/12 tickets, because day 1 you get 3 tickets. But basically you're forced to spend 3 tickets every day for the first 3 circuits, and then after the first 3 circuits you're able to spend 1 to 3 tickets. When you spend 3 tickets, you also get a huge amount of sync buffs. I think you get 3 if you spend 3 tickets, 2 if you spend 2 tickets, and 0 if you spend 1 ticket. Also, you get more time depending on how much tickets you spend. But in general, you spend the tickets and you do the fights, and then you get more or less time and buffs depending on how many tickets you use. And again, that only happens after the 3rd circuit, after the 3rd round of gym battles. Before that, you're forced to use 3 tickets, and you're forced to get a certain amount of time and a certain amount of sync buffs. But I think the battles are really fun. Again, it's really reminiscent of damage challenge, where you have a certain amount of time to do your fights. However, you do want to squeeze out as much damage as possible, and so in that sense, is kind of like, I think it's kind of like battle rally, not battle rally. I'm sorry. It's kind of like Pasio Tower, where you're just trying to fit in as much damage as possible. Because sometimes during like some of the high score events, some of the damage challenge events, you actually, while doing as much damage as possible is good, you also need to complete certain objectives to get more points. But in this, the only objective you need to do is defeat your opponent. And so it's like damage challenge, but you need to defeat your opponent. And I think it's quite fun because even because you don't have a lot of time, it really highlights that, okay, you need to just use the best characters you have on your account. Like literally, you just have to use your best characters on your account at high investment. I was kind of trolling because my main damage dealer was Anniversary 2026 Red, and I didn't even have him at level 200. And so if I had him at level 200, maybe I could have completed this content a little bit faster or a little bit better. But yeah, you just want to use your best characters, your best support characters. So oftentimes I was using Anniversary 2026 Gloria because she is, in my opinion, the best character in the game. Definitely the best support character in the game, but I just think full stop she's the best character in the game just because she just has so much good supporting power. Her quick attacks are able to lower the sync move count down by a bunch. And if you have her at 5 out of 5 copies, she's able to use that quick attack move twice, lowering the sync move count down by a bunch, but also applying rebuff to 2 different targets. I'm sorry, not rebuff. Applying the special break and a physical break to 2 different targets in the fight. And then if you have, for example, Anniversary Red, then you're able to, or Anniversary 2026 Red, you're able to apply rebuff to the 3rd target. And so using, Anniversary 2026 Red and Anniversary Gloria, you're able to fully apply physical break effect on all the enemies, which greatly increases your damage. And then for that team, I ended up using Hassel, even though I have Hassel at 1 out of 5 copies. Dragon Zone. Dragon Zone is really strong, and Hassel also has an attack that lowers the sync move countdown by like 5. And so with Hassel and Gloria, if you use Hassel's move that lowers the sync move countdown and you use Gloria's quick attack, you're able to literally fully lower the sync move countdown from 9 to 0. So it's super fun. Super fun, that team. And then you're noticing that I'm using like a dragon team, but there's no dragon weakness. And that's another thing about the battles that I think is good, is that even though it's time limited, you're able to bring in your best characters because at least for a lot of it, you can use any character you want. It's not type restricted as it is for a Pasio Tower. You can bring in any character you want, so you can truly bring in your best characters. Keep in mind though that for the more higher up circuits, starting at circuit 4, circuit 5, certain fights will have restrictions like, okay, you can this fight the enemy can only take damage from super effective attacks, or the enemy can only take damage from physical moves or special moves. And so eventually there are restrictions that restrict team building, but I think that's also fine because that means I can't continually use the best team on my account. I actually have to change things up, and I think that involves a little bit of strategy as well. Not only are battles, you complete them by defeating the enemies, but you can go into them multiple times. So it reminds me of Full Force Battle, or Full Force Battle, or like Battle Villa, where even if you don't complete the battle the first time, if you go back in, they'll still have certain debuffs, and then you can continue from where you left off. I guess Legendary Arena as well. Legendary Arena is the same thing, where they will have the same amount of health as you left off. But that's good because obviously not every player is going to be able to just one-shot everything because they have the best characters in the game. There are going to be some newer players or some low investment account players or some returning players that don't have really strong accounts. So they're not going to be doing as well as, veteran players or whales who've invested a lot into the game. But those players can still have a lot of impact. I like this system where as long as someone starts the fight, the next time someone enters that fight, they'll get a buff. So that means that even if you're a low level player, you should always start the battles, because when you start the battles, even if you can't really complete them, you're still giving a strong buff to the next person to continue it. So I think that's really important for this content, is that new players still have a ton of impact. Honestly, the reason why my gym was able to get 1,000,000 points, and the reason why I was able to get the highest amount of points in my gym, was because people started battles and then I finished those battles. I think that is a really important thing, especially since, again, I don't have the strongest account in the game, and so having someone else start the fight instead of me needing to start the fight helps a lot, because I get the extra buff. And again, that helped our gym get 1,000,000 points for sure, because again, a lot of players were active, and again, my gym doesn't have the best players, but those players started the fights, and hey, you know, it worked. And for the strategies there, if you want to support, I think that there's like basically 2 strategies that you can do. One of them is to just jump in and apply as much rebuffs and, you know, stat debuffs as possible. I think literally probably the best character for this is, I think is it Special Costume Steven and Variety Chase? I think Special Costume Steven is able to apply rebuff to any type, right? I think, I don't have him, but I think he's able to apply rebuff to any type. So Special Costume Steven is really good because he can apply rebuff to the weakness of the enemy, but also Variety Chase applies like a bunch of debuffs. I don't think all of them, but he applies a bunch of them, so he can be really strong to apply rebuff. Again, because I'm fighting using, you know, Charizard, a dragon type, or Terra Charizard, so it's dragon type, you know, the rebuffs don't really matter. But you know, at the end of the day, it's like, if you're gonna enter the fight and not do a lot of damage, you might as well just apply like as much rebuffs as possible, so that the next person who fights maybe can take advantage of the rebuffs. Also, lowering stats is really important. Lowering defense and special defense is really strong. The enemies don't really do that much damage, and so lowering attack and special attack and flinching is not all that important. Maybe flinching to, you know, gain a little bit of time advantage, because again, it is time limited, so flinching can help you gain a little bit of time. But again, I think that's a good strategy, is just going in and applying debuffs. And also, if you want to do chip damage as a, you know, as a low investment player, you can also do chip damage just by applying trap, confusion, stealth rock, poison, burn, hail, sandstorm, you know, all that stuff. So even as a new player, or even, I say new player, but even as like a low investment player, you can still have a ton of impact by doing damage too, if you really want to do that route. I haven't really tested that out that much, but I'm sure like you can probably get a little bit of damage in if you do that. And yeah, that's basically for support strategy. Also, if you, after circuit 3, if you're going to be supporting, you probably only want to use 1 ticket. Do not use 3 tickets just to like do a little bit of damage. I don't think that's worth it. I think you should just go ahead and just use 1 ticket at a time. Sure, you're going to be needing to do a lot more battles, but hey, each battle is only like 90 seconds, and then each fight you can just apply as much rebuff as possible, apply as much stat lowering as possible, and then if the enemy is fully, your stats fully lowered, then might as well just do chip damage from, you know, trapped and all that stuff. I will say you have to kind of be careful what stats conditions you afflict, because sometimes your striker or other people's strikers might rely on the enemy being paralyzed or the enemy being poisoned. And so just keep that in mind. If you're going to apply stats conditions, you have to be careful what stats conditions you apply. You probably want to apply the best stats condition for what other people are going to be attacking with. And again, that's for supporting, for damage, for a count like me, because in my account, in my gym, you know, I'm one of the most invested players into the game, and so that means that I need to focus on doing damage and clearing the runs and trying to get as much points as possible. And strategies for damage, like I mentioned, is just having the strongest team. Even if I wasn't doing super effective attacks, again, Anniversary 2026 Red with EX Dragon Zone is just too strong. I also use my 5 out of 5 new champion Hilda. She does a ton of normal attack damage, but she also flinches. with her buddy move, and so flinching is also really good to buy you more time because this is damage challenge. Keep in mind that a lot of characters aren't really good in damage challenge because their attacks just take too long and stuff like that, and so because it is damage challenge, you have to bring in characters that potentially are able to attack quickly, and then of course you want your support characters to have adrenaline or head start because again you don't really take a lot of damage. And then also effects like gradual healing is pretty dangerous because gradual healing excuse me, I'm talking a lot so my throat is kind of congested, but gradual healing is not a good effect to have because it wastes time, so stuff like that. But I found myself doing a good amount of damage as long as people started to fight, so another con besides the combat is I think the multiplayer inclusivity is really good in this event. Like I mentioned before, you don't need to have a lot of impact, or you don't need to be super powerful to have a lot of impact. As long as you start these battles, as long as you do chip damage, you can really provide a lot of support in the fights, in the battles. Also, I did a little bit of science at the last day because we got 1,000,000 points and I still had like 3 tickets left. And so I tried to do a fight, like a brand new fight. I tried to start a fight with a team. Of course I'm applying rebuffs, I'm applying a bunch of debuffs. By the way, you can't apply special attack and physical, or you can't apply special or physical break effect on the enemy and have that transfer over. So you have to do that every fight, which is a bit annoying. But you can't support yourself. So I did a fight, I started a fight and I couldn't take advantage of buffs from that fight. So you have to you can't start a fight and then continue on your own. You have to have someone else continue on your own, or you have to continue someone else's start of a fight because you can't support yourself, which I thought it makes sense. It requires more co-op, but I just thought that it would be cool if I can support myself. If if my gym isn't active, or if I'm if I need to do it myself because other people in the gym aren't active or they don't want to fight that fight. But yeah, I think just having a lot of people, you can have a lot of impact even if you don't you don't have a good account. That's really good for including everybody. It encourages activity in your gym because again, at least for me, I've only gone S rank gyms twice. And so having this gym event encourages activity a lot, which I think is good. People are entering the gym, and so they see, oh, I should do my trainer lounge interactions. Oh, I should do my daily battle point battle, stuff like that. And then also, I think one of the best things that they did, which I'm not sure if they did this on purpose or they just did it because, but one of the things is that if you spend a certain amount of tickets, you get a certain amount of gems. So not only do you get gem rewards after completing the gym event, but you get gem rewards while doing the gym event because the more fights you did, the more tickets you spent, the more gems you can get, which I think is really important because again, that encourages activity. If you are a player who doesn't want to interact with the gym event, that's fine, but it means that you're losing gems. And so like forcing players to play the content to get gems means that there's more activity, which means that more people contribute with the gym, which I think is a super important thing. If they didn't have that, I suspected that some people in my gym may have not wanted to fight, or I suspect that some people in general may have not wanted to fight because there's no immediate gem rewards. So I think the immediate gem rewards is incredibly important into getting people to fight, or to fight into gym in the gym challenge. In terms of rewards, like I mentioned the gems before, the rewards in the gym challenge are great. So again, if you get 1,000,000 points, the combined rewards is a lot of stuff. You get a bunch of new lucky cookies that seem to help with potentially older characters, and these cookies seem to be very strong in terms of normal move damage. I don't think these cookies boost sync move damage, which is a bit not the greatest, but it increases normal move damage, which is really strong. You get a few fair guaranteed scout tickets, which are really important for new players or for less investment characters. You also get a singular 5-star gym scout ticket, which I don't think is that good. I wish it was a select ticket so that I can select the gym characters I want, like Matina or Winona, because at this point a lot of my characters are at 3 out of 5 copies, and I would rather get the characters that are lower copies to higher copies. So that's a little bit of a disappointment. I don't really like the gym fair guarantee ticket. And then you also get the gym battle vouchers, which you can exchange for move candies and super awaken candies, which I think is incredibly good. Again, every time the gym event happens, you basically get enough, at least for the individual gyms, you get enough for one candy, for one 5-star candy or super awaken candy, which is super strong. Because my gym was able to get 1,000,000 points, I was able to transfer that into a candy, which is super good. In terms of leadership rewards, leaderboard rewards, you actually do get more rewards as if your gym did better as a group. And so you start getting super awakened candies and more of those gym battle vouchers as you hit higher ranked gyms. And so that's super strong too. So if you're in a good gym, or if you're in a gym that's like competitive and you really interact with the content and you really strategize and everything, you can get a lot of points, and then as such you deserve a lot of good rewards. And so it's a new way to get super awakened candies. And if you are, I think this is important, if you are top, what is it? If you are top, okay, never mind. I was gonna say, if you're top 500, you get extra vouchers, and which means that you can get like 3 candies in the span of 2 events. But no, it looks here you have to be top 8 to get 50 of the vouchers. So if you're somehow top 8 gym and you're watching this video, if you maintain top 8, then basically you can get 2 candies during 3 events instead of just getting 1 candy per event. Also, another good reward is the ranking, like I mentioned, just Master Ball ranking in general. So if you complete 3 circuits, you enter Master Ball ranking, in which case you get 1,000 gems and 10 tickets just in general. You don't need to be in a high ranking gym. And so in that sense, you still get a little bit of the currency to exchange stuff, and then you also get some gems as long as you complete 3 circuits. So that's super good as well. So the rewards are good, and yeah, that's kind of the ends of the pros. I'm probably forgetting a few, but again, in short, if as long as your gym has a good game plan going into it, the low investment players start the battles, the more investment players complete the battles, everyone does their fight, everyone does their battles, everyone can contribute and get a lot of rewards. So I think gym event is really fun in that sense. But now I have to talk about cons, of course, because I do think there are a few problems. I don't think these problems are too crazy, and it's still like we're still in that period where it's the first gym event, and literally people cannot go in and out of gyms because of the gym event. They made it so that you can't leave your gym, and then even after the gym event you still can't leave the gym. So unfortunately the gym season is going to be 10 days in before anyone can leave the gym, which I think that's just the first con. If your gym has a lot of inactive players, you can't kick them out to start the new season to get more active players in. And so let's say you struggle to get S rank because you didn't have a lot of active players. Well, that means guaranteed this month you're not going to get S rank, because those same players are still not going to be active. You can't kick them out for new players. So I think that really sucks. Let's say it's anniversary, a bunch of your friends just started playing this game and you want to join your gym. Well, they can't join your gym if it's full because you can't kick people out to add them in. And so I think it makes sense that you can't kick people out because they want the rewards to be there. And so if you stay in the gym, you can't get, they don't want to mess up the reward stuff. So I get it, it's a little bit awkward, but yeah, I just don't like how you can't kick players out. Like, I have a player in my gym, like I said, there's only one player, so I'm glad that it's only one player, but I have a one bot player that I want to kick out, but I can't kick them out. So unfortunately, it's like, well, let's just hope that my gym can complete S rank, because we struggle with that sometimes. So yeah, that's one major thing. Another thing is that when it comes to rewards, like, yes, the rewards are really good, but like, again, my gym barely got 1,000,000 points, so we barely got all the reward. But I know a lot of gyms were missing out on, you know, a lot of the rewards if there wasn't enough active players, or if there were players trolling. And so, like, a lot of players probably didn't get those, like, lucky cookies, or the skill cookies, which is a little bit unfortunate because those items seem to be very limited, especially the Neo Champion Red one. The Neo Champion Red one, you needed how many points did you need for that? The Neo Champion Red one, you needed, yes, 760 points. So you need to basically be 3/4 of the way to master rank to get that reward. And like, what sucks is that Neo Champion Red, at least with Articuno, yeah, Neo Champion Red with Articuno, that character is actually going to be given out for free very soon. And so, like, if you were in a gym and you couldn't get that lucky cookie, like, that's super unfortunate, because you're missing potentially a lot of damage from your Neo Champion Red. So I just wish that, you know, the rewards were easier to get, because again, my gym barely got the max rewards, and basically you need like 840,000 points to get you need 840,000 points to get enough currency to buy a move cookie. You technically don't need to be 1,000,000 points to get your candy. You can get your candy because you get 10 from being master rank, and you'll always be master rank from getting, like, I think it was, the number was because you get 80 and then you get 16 and then you get 24, so that's 8 times 6, so that's 40. Yeah, so if you get 480,000 points, that means you would have completed 3 circuits, which means you would be master rank, which means that you would get, you know, 10 additional gym battle vouchers, which means technically you can beat 840,000 points, which gets you 98 of the vouchers, and then 98 plus 10 from being master rank means 100. So, you know, the math, you guys get the math, right? You can get the candy without needing 1,000,000 points. You can get the candy by being 840,000 points. So yes, I just wish the rewards were a little bit easier. I know a lot of people are complaining, like, oh, I'm in a low ranked gym and so I couldn't get the super awakened candies from the top ranked gym, but that's just, you know, that's just expectations. I went into this content knowing that, okay, my gym for sure isn't good enough to, you know, not to downplay the players on my gym, but like, I know my gym doesn't have enough good players to be in a high ranked gym, or to be one of those high ranked gyms to get super awakened candy. So yeah, while it sucks that I can't get, you know, the additional super awakened candies, at the end of the day, it's like, it's fine. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, it is just super awakened candies, which is to increase Pokefairs that are at 5 out of 5 copies, okay? So like, as a new player, you probably don't even have Pokefairs at 5 out of 5 copies, so you probably couldn't even use super awakened candies. And then super awakened candies, in my opinion, aren't as impactful as, like, because you're upgrading Pokefairs, which are kind of power crept. So at this point, having a singular candy for like a new Master Fair is probably more valuable than having a few super awakened candies for a Pokefair that's at 5 out of 5 copies, you know. So in my opinion, I'm not too worried about that. Sure, a few thousand extra gems would be nice. A few more of that gym currency to exchange for candies would be nice, but at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. So yes, I wish some of the, you know, early game rewards were easier to get, but the end game rewards, which is like the ranking rewards, I don't think that is that big of a deal. Yeah, it sucks that we can't, like, people like me can't get super awakened candies, but again, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I'm not crying over it. Another major thing, I mean, this potentially, I mean, I feel like this is probably the major issue about the gym challenge, or gyms in general, is that it's difficult to communicate with the players in your gym, right? Like in Clash of Clans and Clash Royale, you're able to literally type in stuff in the group chat, in the team chat, and that way you can communicate. In Pokemon Masters, obviously they don't want to deal with a lot of, slurs and stuff like that, a lot of naughty, inappropriate talk, because it is a Pokemon game. It's probably potentially a lot of I don't feel like the Pokemon Master audience is a lot of young players. I suspect that it's a lot of older players, or a lot of young adults. So I don't really think, because Pokemon Master isn't really a friend or a child-friendly game, in my opinion. But regardless, I understand why you don't want to do like typing in the gyms, but it's really hard to communicate with players. Like, if I was in this, like, after my first experience with the gym challenge, if I could talk with my gym again, I think it's really important that everyone's on board with a game plan. So I'd be like, okay, the new players, I'm gonna want you to start the fights. All the good players, I'm gonna want you to not do any fights until like the last 3 days after we have unlocked, like, the master rank. And I'll tell them, like, okay, what team comp you want to use, what you should be trying to aim for. This person, you have really good fire units, so you're only gonna do fire battles. This person, you have really good physical characters, and so I want you to do the stages where you need to do physical damage. So like, if you're able to communicate, and I'm sure like top 100, all of those gyms have like a Discord or something where they communicated on like how they were planning things out, ways to help each other, stuff like that. And so I think if you can communicate, the gym challenge becomes a tons more fun and a ton more nerdy, and like you can geek out on it. It can be a lot of fun, and you can do really well. But because there isn't a way to communicate in game, it's a little bit complicated. And I ended up having a lot of people in my gyms basically waste 3 tickets just to not do that much damage, when they could have just spent 1 ticket to buff the fight so that other people can do better, because they get the support buff. And so some of the players should have just spent all their tickets just debuffing and everything, instead of trying to do damage. So again, that's probably the worst thing about gym in general, is that you can't communicate with the players in your gym. But again, that's why, like, what this Discord is for and all that stuff, I guess. What would be good is you can set like a gym message. Like, in my gym, if you join it, you get a message, and that message says, join my Discord, blah blah blah. Like, I think that would really help with communication. Again, it's just on players if they put naughty stuff in their gyms. But if I was a gym, I'm not really a fan of group of like gym or like clan Discords, but I would for sure, like, for my clan, I would make a Discord for it. And if people want to join and talk strategy, or like they want to ask me questions about how they should be approaching the content, or how I think they should be approaching the content, or maybe they have recommendations for me on what I should be doing, then like for sure that would be great. So if they add that feature, I think that, again, no communication in the gym is okay, but as long as I can write a message in my gym like join my Discord, I think that would help a lot. Anyways, another thing that I think is bad about the gym challenge is that there are players that can actively troll. So players who can like spend their tickets and not do any damage, or players that like don't do their fights in general. Like, that can be a negative thing too. It's like, it's hard to get 20 people fully into a system, fully like doing the content. So that's unfortunate. It would be nice to kick them out mid-season to get in a player who really wants to, engage in the content and really want to help out the gym. But that is not always the case. And so, yeah, I feel like that's hard to kind of solve. Like, you just have to kick out players who aren't active and add players who are active, that are active, if you don't want people griefing the gym. All right. Another thing that I think is bad, but we haven't experienced it yet, because at the point of recording this, people still can't leave the gym. But like, another thing that I think is bad is that I think people are going to be more likely to leave the gym. Like, my gym, I feel like some people who like the players who got a lot of points or feel like they can get into a better gym might leave my gym for better gyms. And so I think that right now the gyms are really evenly distributed, but I think later on, after people can leave gyms, you know, a lot of the active players might try to go for really good gyms or the top gyms, and then a lot of casual players are going to be left with like, okay, I've just lost like a bunch of members in my gym, that's not very good. And then like they get new players that are, again, new players that don't have really high investment accounts, and so you know what I mean, right? So there's going to be like kind of a shift in like the distribution of how the members of the gyms are. Because, you know, before, if you were the best player in Pokemon Masters, it doesn't really matter what gym you were in, as long as you got S rank, right? It doesn't matter if you were in a gym with a bunch of other good players or if you're in a gym with a bunch of noobs. As long as the noobs were active as a good player, it doesn't really matter, you know. But now it does matter, and so I feel like there's going to be a distribution shift, and I feel like a lot of casual gyms or a lot of like low ranking gyms are gonna lose a lot of players, lose a lot of activity. I'm kind of talking about my gym. Like, I feel like there might be a lot of players that want to leave, and you know what, fair, you know, try to get good rewards, try to get those rank rewards, you know, I encourage it. But it's hard to kind of you know, trying to look for those gyms. And so, you know, we'll see. I think as gym challenge goes on, people will get better. And so even as, you know, some low level accounts or some newbie accounts, I think still might be able to provide a lot of impact. And so I hope that that's the case. And also, I'm personally better, and so I can probably squeeze out more points and try to get, you know, try to carry my gym even if there aren't a lot of players that are going to be super high investment, because those players probably want to move on to other gyms that can get higher ranks for better rewards, right? So yeah, we'll see. Right now, again, players haven't been able to leave gyms, but once that is able to happen, I really am curious about how player distribution is going to be for the gyms. And one final thing that I probably should have mentioned earlier, but I'm going to mention it now. I think expectations can be another negative thing. Going into this content, my expectation was really low. Not in terms of the event. I had high expectations for how the event was going to go, like how fun it was going to be, because this is coming off of Pasio Tower. Like, Pasio Tower was a major hit, and so I expected the gym event to be really fun as well. And so in terms of that expectation, it was met. But in terms of reward expectations, I think that's an important thing. My reward expectations were very low, because again, like I mentioned, my gym only got S rank like twice this season and like one previous season. And so my expectation for rewards was pretty low, because I didn't know how active my gym was going to be, and I also didn't know how much I could provide individually. So when I started, I looked at the rewards and I was happy to, like, my expectation, absolutely, I wasn't expecting to be top 500 ranked gyms. Like, if you're top 500, you get Super Awakened Candied. I was not expecting to get top 500. Sure, if I duplicated my account 19 times and I was in a gym just by myself, do I think I can get top 500? Probably. I can probably get top 500 if there were 20 players exactly like me, and I am one brain, and so I can develop a game plan for myself. You know, like I said, I have one account specifically targeted to debuff and start the battles with one ticket, and then I have another account that mainly does damage for, you know, 3 tickets and all that stuff. So I can probably by myself, if I had 20 accounts, get top 500. But in terms of like as a gym, I didn't think it was possible, and so I just completely ignored those like top 500 rewards. Like, I knew I wasn't getting any Super Awakened Candies from being ranked. I thought that 1,000,000 points was a lot too, and so my expectation was, if I can get enough of those gym currencies to get a candy within 2 gym events. So right now you need 100. So if I can get 50 of those currency so that I can get a candy out of 2 gym events, I would be happy about that. So that was my expectations for rewards, is like pretty low. And then after seeing how it went, my expectation got bumped up to be, okay, I want to be master rank, because master rank, I get 1,000 gems, and I help my gym get 1,000 gems. So that became my goal, because I bumped up my expectation. I'm like, okay, I want to be master rank. And then after we completed master rank, Then my goal was to be able to get 1 candy per gym event, because again at master rank you get 10 of those currency, and then as long as you can get 92 from being at 840 points, then you can get a full candy per gym event. And so like, okay, my goal isn't even to get 1,000,000 points, it's just to get enough to get 1 5-star candy during 1 event. And then after we got, you know, 840,000 points, then I raised my expectations to, okay, I think we can actually get 1,000,000 points. And then we ended up getting 1,000,000 points. So like, as you saw there, my expectations started very low. Okay, if I can get half a candy, I'll be happy. Okay, if I got 1,000 gems from being master rank, I'll be happy. And then, oh, if I got a full candy, I'll be happy. And then, okay, if I got 1,000,000 points, I'll be happy. And so, you see how like I raised my expectations as the event went on. Like I started with very low expectations, and then I raised as I went on. I feel like a lot of players have it backwards. Like, oh, I want to get top 8 so I can get 2 super awakened candies. Oh, I can't do that. I want to get top 500. Oh, I can't do that, you know? So it was like, for me, I started off with low expectations, and I'm very happy that my gym was able to get 1,000,000 points, because I was basically able to get full rewards. So, you know, I think I would say that's a kind of a con, because like, you know, you have to start players with low expectations, and you know, just be happy with what you get. So I'm incredibly happy about my gym's performance and what we were able to achieve. And I think that, you know, while it sucks that common players can get super awakened candies and extra rewards, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, you just have to get what you can get. And again, for me, if I get half a move candy, I'll be happy. Obviously now, like, I definitely want the lucky cookies for the skills, because I feel like those are a little bit limited. I don't really care about like the guaranteed gym character, or I don't really care about like the Pokefair guaranteed tickets either. It's mainly just the rewards. A final note, because I've just talked about all the pros, I think all the cons. I'm probably missing a bunch, but that's okay. A final thing I want to mention, because this video is almost a freaking hour long, is the frequency. I'm not sure how frequent they're gonna have this event. I think the timing of the event was a little bit awkward too, because like, you want this event to happen so that there's peak activity during the gym, but like the gym season ended and then the gym event was still going on. So I think they need to fix it where like they both end at the same time, or they both happen at the same time. Just because if they both happen at the same time, that means you get a lot of gym activity, which means you can get, you know, S rank in your gym. You know what I mean, right? So that they don't, like, it shouldn't, the gym event shouldn't still be running when the gym season is still running, because that means that literally during the end of the gym event, when there's the most activity, the gym like season is over, and so you can't even contribute. So I think that's kind of dumb. I think they should definitely move it so that they both coincide at the same time. But I hope we get these often. This doesn't seem like something they're gonna do every month, because the rewards are just so good. And like it's a rank event that involves like a bunch of people, and so it's just, I feel like it might be really hard for them to like manage everything if they do it every month. But I really hope we get this a lot. I hope we get this often. I hope it's not like every 2 months we get it. I hope it's like every month and a half, or every month we get it, because the more of these events, I just think, you know, a lot of people play together, a lot of people can get better, because I think this event does make players better at the game. The more rewards we get, the more competitiveness we get. So I think this event is really fun, and I hope they rerun it a lot. Again, give a lot of people opportunities to get the high rank titles, like, oh, I was in the top 1 gym during this event. Like, I think that's super fun too, because a lot of people want those titles. So I think that if they do it right, and at the frequency of this event, at least once every 2 months, I think is a good point. If they do it too much, obviously like every 2 weeks, that can be very overwhelming, but obviously they're not going to be doing it that much. So I really hope it's once every 1.5 months or every 2 months. Again, I hope it isn't like something that they do only at the end of the month, but they kind of make it so that they throw it in the middle of the month, where gyms need activity. But anyway, that's kind of it. Final thoughts: gym event good. And I'm gonna stop talking, because I've been talking for like almost 50 minutes. So thank you so much for watching. You're beautiful the way you are. If you're out in a gym, you know, try your best. Try to, you know, communicate, or if you don't communicate, try to like just not troll and do your best with the gym challenge, because again, every little battle helps, and yeah, so I think it's great. So I'm gonna end it there. Thank you for watching.